morning, Nigerians, and welcome to Morning Pulse, the pulse of Nigerian politics, right here on Active Citizens. My name will always remain Ifoma Oji, and we're starting this morning with a controversial figure. A lot of people would call him Nyesom Wike. Now, just days after Ademola Adeleke was declared the winner of the Osun governorship election, Wike made a remarkable statement. He essentially argued that President Bola Tinubu deserves credit for allowing a free and fair election because, according to him, if the president had wanted APC to win Osun election at all costs, Wike would have been involved and the outcome would have been different. Now, let us pause for a minute and think about the implication here. Should a president be praised for allowing an election to be free and fair? Or should Nigerians' institutions be strong enough that even if the president desperately wants his party to win, he cannot change the will of the voters? But first, let's take a look at the video where Wike made such pronouncements, and we'll come back for more conversations.
I don't know the effort made by federal government. But I do know that parties in the election will make efforts to win election. There's nothing wrong in that. But federal government, I'm part of the federal government. I'm sure that if the president wanted to win Osun at all costs, I would be involved. And I would have been there. And the governor would have known that it would have been different. Election is not won one day. Election is not one day. Election is a process. You can't just get up in the morning to go and win an election. President is a politician now. So people should not, when they say effort of federal government, what do you see to show that federal government is seriously interested to win this? If colleagues, governors, as of a party, think that by going there, will have a form of influence. It is to the people. I didn't see anything that anybody would tell the federal government did. Do you know what you are talking about if federal government carried influence? Do you not see 2019 influence in the River State election? Where you saw federal might, where the military was fully involved, where women came out naked, carrying their breasts, showing the soldiers, look at our breasts, you won't do anything here today. That's what they say when you see might, military might, federal might. Where you see where military base was turned to collation center. Then when they talk about federal might, come on, when they say people like Atiku, did his party not contest? If you were trying to support Adeleke, why did you feed the candidate? Their candidate had lost. He are now saying, oh, we thank God the Accord Party won. Are you a member of Accord Party? If you are talking about coalition, you would have done the coalition before then. You would have come to say, look, everybody in this party step down. We want Accord to win this election. Then you would have made sense. Then after the election, you say, oh, we won. Look, they won. What did the governor say? He said, President, I thank you for allowing a free and fair election. And for that purpose, I want to reiterate my commitment I made to you. I will still support you for a second term. So they are taking that, having said, oh, Adeleke, you have won. They are looking for a way to enter. Unfortunately, the governor is smarter than them. The governor said, don't come.
That statement is controversial enough. Davido entered the conversation. Now, Davido, who is Governor Ademola Adeleke's nephew and therefore clearly not a neutral observer, has made an extraordinary allegation, He claims about 110 billion naira was spent by the APC in connection with the Osun election. And that is not running in millions, it is running in billions. And Davido went further by saying that he claims that powerful individuals, including Senate President Godswill Akpabio and and businessman Aliko Dangote contacted him and asked him to delete posts he had made. Now, these are allegations. We should not present this 110 billion naira as established fact without documentary evidence. But first of all, let's take a look at that video and we'll come back for a conversation.
Billionaire with this election.
Can you imagine? No more than that. I just confirmed today.
Okay.
They spent 110 billion naira.
Wow.
I don't know where I'm coming from. I'm coming from somewhere where we had an insider that was sending us, if you see the cash that these people brought in. Hey, if they had gotten away with that election, Nigeria is finished. Because the blueprint will now be, for election is violence, only way is violence and money.
Money.
We didn't spend a dime on election day. All we could do is just pray that these people take their money and vote for us.
Well, now you peeped into my book because that was going to be my next question.
Okay.
Do you think it was a major collaboration between not just the fact that you tweeted, but yes, the people love the governor, but then we saw videos making rounds where people were saying, they said it in Yoruba, of course, they're saying, oh, we collected their money, but then we voted for them. So do you think it was a major collaboration between the people and, yes, your tweets were going round?
My checkmating INEC, because when the election started, the results were being uploaded every 30 minutes. You know, it's
Right, there are a lot of things that Davido said there, but let's just work with this one. Let's run with what he just said right now. Now, joining me in the studio, of course, to have this conversation, I have with me Mr. Samuel Orazaleke. Good morning, Mr. Samuel. How are you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm great. Now let's start with your best friend, right? Wike, the FCT minister. He said that if the president wanted to employ federal might and if he wanted to win Osun election, that the president would have contacted him. What, first of all, does that make him?
The thing is, I'm not even going to talk about him as a person, but there's this word he used there that, when I was listening to the news and I was like, this is not right. This is showing the decay in our democracy. And as I said, I have a lot to talk about concerning Wike's statement or that particular interview. He talked about, the federal influence. That, there was no federal influence in this Osun state. That if there was, the story would have changed. The fact that Adeleke war would have been the case. And that I remember, and I asked myself, I've said this thing multiple times, what are we actually practicing? Are we practicing democracy? Are we practicing ceremonial democracy? Or are we practicing military democracy? Because he made mention of things. He made mention of doing his own time in 2019 when, the military came into Rivers during the election, and they positioned themselves in the polling units, the military men, and him then said, "Oh, this is a coup against him as a state governor," and he made mention of that. So I'm not asking myself, is he trying to think something that was done to him back then? Was he trying to talk about that something like this might happen in 2027? And I'm not asking, I've said this multiple times. I'm really scared about 2027. I'm really scared about the lives that is going to be that people that are going to die doing that, because it's at this point it's as if it's certain that not even someone, multiple of people is going to die for an election to conduct free. I won't even call it fair, but for an election to go on. And certain statement that Wike made there, the should I say the confidence that is out there talking about how 2027 they're going to win it, that the people that are going to, be there, that they should better start crying,
Okay, we've not actually gotten to that point, but yes, joining us to have this conversation also is Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning, sir? Now, I would love to have your thoughts on what Wike said when he said that the president, if he wanted to win the election, that he would have contacted him. What does that, I asked you this question earlier, Mrs. Samuel, what does this make Wike? Does it make him the author and finisher of Nigerians' fate, or does he, I don't really know the right word to use, but that's why I want to hear from you. Your thoughts now.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good
I don't know if you
morning.
guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, so the problem with people actually coming out to make such statements is not that Nigerians are dumb or anything. It's that we built a system in Nigeria where we do not checkmate those in power, right? So
Yeah.
we see people who come out and make statements without actually caring about the uh, the repercussions of their statement. And this is very significant because Wike is not saying this from a place of he's just trying to make fun. He's saying it because he means it. And to him, nothing is going to happen. Right? Nothing is going to actually happen come rain, come shine. Right? So I feel like Nigeria needs to really sit up and checkmate these politicians. There's something that there's usually said that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. I actually hope that P2B actually did something like this in 2023 election. You would have seen how these people will come out to criticize it, because if we see the trend of what happens in politics in Nigeria, would see the people, these elites, right? Let's talk about Tinubu, for instance. There was a time when he was coming out and he was criticizing corruption in leadership in Nigeria, right? The likes of Daniel Buala, he came out and he criticized leadership in Nigeria. There are plenty of them, right? They use social media to checkmate politicians. But the moment they grab power, right, a la carte, like Tinubu would
Wrong
say,
with it,
right? They forget all consciousness, they forget all conscience, and they act like uncivilized, untrained people. This is not a mistake, right? Someone will come and tell you it's politics, right? And the kind of politics that we are seeing in Nigeria is the type that people play it for their selfish personal gain, not really for the sake of Nigerian people. So most times, that's why even P2B that I'm seeing today, I don't really trust the guy. Because I feel like tomorrow, if he touches the helms of power in Abuja, what's stopping him from doing the same thing? Because some people who actually voted Tinubu because of his track record in Lagos State, right, would agree with me that
Did
Tinubu...
he really do something?
Yes, he did. He did. Go and check his track record. Tinubu was a good governor, right? He created structures that made Lagos State part of what it is today, right? So, and then he was somebody that was known, just like Showore is today, who was going around criticizing government, criticizing the illicit things that are happening in Nigeria. But today, he is now the one at the helms of affair of corruption. So the thing is, people like Wike is always going to be in the coffers of politics in Nigeria unless we get a revolution where these people are checkmated, their activities are checkmated. Because if you go in America and make this kind of statement, they will pick you up.
But I have one more question again, Mr. Wisdom. Do you think that the president should be praised for allowing a free and fair election?
Okay.
Because we can
let me put this way, right? It's like coming to a university or a school, right, and praising the invigilator for not allowing people to do examination malpractice. What are we preaching? Exactly. Right? Or coming to a school and praising teachers, oh, you let your student pass the exams by reading. What are they supposed to do before? Are they supposed to come and carry textbook and write the exams? Right? So we've completely lost our sense of understanding of what is right and what is law, or what is our duty, or what is our responsibility. These politicians are entitled, right? They've gotten to a point where they are now feeling entitled. They can come out and do anything, because there's this popular saying in Nigeria that Nigerians they will survive. They will get used to it. Right? We've gotten too used to rubbish that seeing a free and fair election now seems like it is the heaven on earth. Because, okay,
there's this thing I was telling someone the other day, right? Why is it that for the past few decades that Nigerian politicians have been in place of power since we became independent, that every single governor that comes in will tell you I'm building road. So they know they build the road finish. Right? One governor will come and build flyover, the whole state will be happy. I saw one interview on social media where they were asking the street urchin what he felt, whether he's going to vote Tinubu again, and he said yes. Why? And Tinubu is doing well. What did he do? He built road. And in my head, I'm like, are you okay? Before I no go build road, the money where then they chop, like
You see it as
Making me Mr. Wisdom, thank you so much. That was really quite emotional. I don't even know why I am finding it funny, but maybe I've gotten used to anomalies that, I mean, nothing really about this government surprises me anymore. But let me come to you now. Davido made a shocking, statement where he said that the APC spent around 110 billion naira just to induce people to vote for them. He said that people were taking, I think a voter was taking around 50,000 naira just for them to vote APC, and still at the end of the day that Ademola Adeleke won without them having to spend a dime. First of all, can you confirm the veracity of that claim? That's one. And secondly, what are your thoughts on the 110 billion naira that he said they spent? And meanwhile, the Adeleke, I said Adeleke, yes, their brother, Davido's father, came out to say too that APC spent 60 billion naira for this campaign. So it's as if there are contradictory statements from Davido and his father. But let me hear your thoughts now.
I'll first start with all these things are allegations. Nothing is concrete. There's no evidence behind their claims. But I want Nigerians to understand one thing. If you could check, you see, Davido's father made a claim of 60 billion was spent. Why Davido came out to say 110 billion was spent.
Yeah.
And I want Nigerians to understand this is billions we're talking about. This is no longer millions.
Exactly.
These are things that you can put in a state, in an hospital, or should I say the hospitality of a state, and you see a difference in that state. And the fact that the accountability of that, let's assume that 110 billion was spent. Where did the 110 billion come from? This is the thing. Is it part of those budget that were supposed to be used for something else? Now this money were drafted into the election, and we're not asking ourselves. We are working with the assumption that this allegation was true.
Yeah.
Imagine spending 110 billion on just a state election. Imagine in a federal level. We'll be hearing that 1.3 trillion or 2 trillion was spent. And Nigeria, when we use the word billion, trillion, it doesn't really sound that hefty. This thing can pay salaries of thousands of people. It can offset pensions. I'm still sure that certain states are still owing people their pensions till now. And this money is borrowed money. That the fact that Nigerians don't understand that this money is actually borrowed. This is not coming from from our crude oil anymore. This is money that we went out there to borrow in the turn of we want to make the economy better. That is being spent. And they've not made certain allegations also, certain claims that Fabio, his godfather called him, Dangote called him, and this comes back down to when I said that politics revolves around nepotism and interest. For Dangote to call him and be like, delete your tweet. What did they say wrong? Talked about the politics in Nigeria is getting bad. APC, that he will never support APC in his life. And so if you check, let me excuse Akpabio because he's a politician. But let's look at Dangote. You will see why I tell people that stop looking at these people that have money. Look within yourself. Fight for yourself. I've always talked about this, that politicians are about their interest. And he made a mention of I think Femi Falana. Okay, that tweeted, which I saw, focus on your music, leave the politics for us. Who actually has politics? Who actually has
Femi Falana?
But he said something, Mr. Femi something, that was trying to call him but didn't get to him. Then went out to post on Twitter and so on. And I'm asking myself if this is actually true. Who actually have these politics? Who are they practicing this politics for? And this comes down to why I told you, I keep saying multiple times that politics in Nigeria, I really don't understand it. I really don't, because
Alright.
it's so sad that this is where it has gotten to, that businessmen out there in Nigeria are trying to tell you to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
That because they are after their own interest. They know what they are gaining from the government. So that's why I always tell Nigerians, as a common citizen, make sure that you are out there for your vote. Make sure that you stay behind the 2027 to collect. Make sure that your result is actually presented to the INEC, and there's no interception that will happen during that day. So
Definitely. And just for me to chime into the conversation, I corroborate completely to what you have to say. And in the spirit of honesty and in the spirit of neutrality, I think that the first question that we should ask ourselves about this monies that we are hearing that politicians, maybe APC, because you won't maybe exempt Osun State Adeleke from spending money. Of course, we know that monies went into this. So the question you're going to ask, first of all, where is this money coming from? Is it coming from the federal government coffers? Where exactly is what the alleged 110 million naira emanating from? The billion naira, sorry, coming from? And if you could see, on the day of the election, people were coming to move the APC, saying we collected their 50,000 naira and we still voted the right candidate. We still voted Adeleke. Now, this is people coming out to corroborate, okay, there was inducement, there was money, and it wasn't small money. So maybe to an extent, that 110 billion naira might be true, just that we don't know the exact amount. And then this 110 million naira, I think Nigerians need to start becoming aware. If you're not into the political space, I believe you, and I kid you not, there are a lot of things that goes on underneath that you do not know about. And that is why whenever you see anything that has to do with news breaking, you pay keen attention to them, get information, and work with that information, and ensure that you sensitize the next person behind you, or the next person that is literally by your side, because things are going on in this country and Nigerians are not aware of it. Imagine a situation where you put 110 billion naira into infrastructure. Imagine when you put 110 billion naira into schools. You see the state, the dilapidated state of schools in Nigeria, and you ask yourself, this is the federal government that keeps on saying we borrowed this amount of money, we borrowed that amount of money. Where is the money going into? Nigerians need accountability for this money, and Nigerians should be made aware that 50,000 naira, 10,000 naira is just temporarily. It's not going to solve your problem for the next 1 month or even the next 2 weeks. It's just one of something. So think about your future before you collect a 50,000 naira or 10,000 naira. But let's move over to the next topic for discussion this morning. And if you think this conversation just ended in Osun State, now let's look at what happened in Abuja yesterday. Peter B and other political contenders gathered for the National Peace Accord ahead of the 2027 general election. They signed documents promising peaceful political conduct. And Obi went even further, telling Nigerians that politicians who violate the accord should be punished at the ballot box. We take a look at the video where they were signing the accord, the peace accord agreement, and we'll come back for more conversations.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the signing of the peace accord is not a mere ceremony. It's not just putting ink on paper, because the ink will definitely dry up. But it's about taking concrete action in ensuring that we build a more peaceful and humane society. And then, to crown all the signing of the peace accord, please permit us that we invite
Right, this looks good, right? People will say on paper it looks good, but here comes the uncomfortable question. How is it that peace accord have been in Nigeria, or Nigerians have been signing peace accord before, and how many elections have still witnessed violence, intimidation, inflammatory rhetoric, and allegations of malpractices. Now, Omorere Sowore essentially raised the same question. He was, of course, at the venue of this peace accord agreement signing, and he was asked for his permit into the premises, and he was like, I mean, you guys allowed other candidates, presidential candidates, to enter into the hall. Why are you asking me for my own permit? I am a presidential candidate. But we'll take a look at that moment. We'll return for more videos and more conversations.
You're welcome, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
How's it going?
What are you here for?
Yeah?
What are you here for, sir?
The signing of the presidential...
Can I see your invitation?
I don't have it. I'm a presidential candidate. So what are you asking me invitation? Why didn't you ask the guy who's driving those cars? Because I'm not driving convoy. Why didn't you stop the guys who are driving convoy?
Can I see your invitation?
I don't have any invitation here with me. You have to let me in. I'm a presidential candidate. I was invited.
I know you, sir.
Yeah, so why are you giving me hard time? Well done.
Hold on. No problem. The people...
Critic didn't end here. Randy Peters joined the conversation. We take a look at what he has to say and come back.
What is the benefit of this so-called peace accord where every election they gather candidates to sign? So what exactly is the use of this peace accord where we not sign? You are signing peace accord, yet the real candidate of particular concern, Tinubu, he no come. Tinubu will be say he no even need peace accord, he need an undertaking. He need oaths to swear oaths, he no come because he no kuku believe in the so-called document where they design for there. Una will be say you are leaders of National Peace Accord, National Peace Committee, Bishop Matthew Kuka, General Abdul Salam Abubakar. Are you people actually interested in free and fair elections in this country? Or you are only interested in having this your ritual of calling candidates to come and sign a useless document that you know that the ruling party will never abide by and you will never stand up to hold them accountable? Una go they sign peace accord. You sign peace accord in Osun State. They finish election. According to reports, more than 20 persons were killed in that election. But those of una will be peace accord leaders, you are station bound to lead. Bim! Una no go talk anything. A 7th senator came out to say that members of another political party should be killed in that election. These are the kind of issues we should see leaders standing up to speak up against this level of brazen violence. But you want to force candidates to come and sign so that opposition they go sign so that they can accept the result of any criminal process that you call elections. These are the real issues that people in National Peace Committee should be talking about. Because if you want peace, there must be justice. There can be no peace without justice unless you are looking for peace of the graveyard. If you want justice, the vote of the people must count. There must be free and fair election. You cannot have a situation where they go rig election involving all manner of violence and you cannot hold them accountable. The person when no come, Tinubu, when the Catholic bishops went to meet Tinubu, what did Tinubu tell them? Bishop Matthew Kuka, were you not there when Tinubu they tell when I say all is fair in politics? Bishop Matthew Kuka, General Abdul Salam, is all fair in politics. Even in war, where we say we don't agree, say we go fight, kill ourselves, there are still rules of engagement in war on how to kill ourselves, let alone to talk about elections, a democratic process.
You're welcome back to the studio. So in line of what Randy Peters just said, maybe the question or the important thing isn't just the signature. Maybe the important thing here is what happens when somebody breaks the agreement, because politicians sign today, supporters become violent tomorrow, and everybody simply gathers for another peace accord at the next election. Then what exactly are we achieving? And we have Mr. Wisdom, of course. I would love to have your thoughts on the peace accord. You know, when the cardinals called President Bola Tinubu for a meeting, they talked about this free and fair election in every election cycle. That was one. And when Osun election was about to happen, they signed peace accord also in that election. But we saw that there were a lot of recorded death according to, you know, the statistics. When you type online, you see, okay, so number of people died. And even APC, Accord Party even came out to say, okay, these are the numbers of people that died during the elections or before the election. What do you have to say as regards the peace accord? Do you think is something that is implemented in Nigeria in every election cycle?
Okay, so first off, is the peace accord necessary, right? Um, it goes both ways, right? Because Nigeria has gotten used to elections being synonymous with violence, right?
Yeah.
But it's not really meant to be that way. So, um, them signing a peace accord is necessary. But the truth is, we know that they are just signing that peace accord for the rhetorics of it. It's maybe a few persons there that signed it that actually cared about what they were signing. Some of them just went there just to show face, right? Now, Tinubu not showing up for that event, it gives us two very critical things to look at. One, that Tinubu is bigger than what they are doing there.
He actually sent a delegate.
You don't send delegates to such events, right? Is the delegate going to be contesting for presidency?
Good question.
It's like when they call for presidential debate and you are sending the delegates. How does that work? Because what you're doing, you're not doing this as the president of Nigeria. You're doing this as a citizen of Nigeria who is contesting for office,
Yes.
right? Regardless of whether you are still the president or not. So why are you sending the delegates? That's the first question. The second question is, what happened with Showore? So you want to tell me that presidency is left for only elites, people who get money, and that's something that I feel needs to be really addressed in Nigeria. Why is the presidential ticket almost 100 million naira? Right? Why is it that expensive? So they are painting a picture that before you can become the president, you have to be rich. You have to be not rich, you have to be wealthy. Because why is the presidential ticket over 100 million? Can every regular day Nigerian afford 100 million to become president? And now the person who is going to afford 100 million to become president is not going there to go and serve you. He's going there to go and make his money back. It's an investment. Now imagine someone like Atiku who has been contesting since God knows when. Then he now finally wins. Broski is going to make all the money that he has spent all these years buying presidential tickets. He's going to first of all make his money back, make profit before he now start looking at all of you. So this whole thing, in theory, it works. It makes sense, right? Of them coming to promise, oh, there's not going to be any violence, there's not going to be this, there's not going to be that. But if we look at it from an objective point of view, the question shouldn't be, is there going to be violence? The question should be what you said. What is going to be the punishment when a candidate induces violence? In fact, there should be punishment for inducement of violence. There should be punishment for inducement of people. That is this whole thing. I don't know why it is so normal or why it has been normalized that we're coming in Nigeria and we're saying, oh, we spent 100 billion for election. Why are these people let to go scot-free, right? Why are you bribing people? Because if you look at it factually, that is bribery. You're bribing people to vote for me, right? So there are a lot of things that needs to be punishable, and regardless of whether the person is the incumbent president or the person is a fresher trying to contest for presidency, there are certain things that if you do, you should be punished. And another thing that you have to look at is, if they are coming out to sign this peace accord, Tinubu has immunity, right? So imagine he induces violence and then wins the election. Who is going to punish him? Right? Because obviously nigga has immunity. So it's when he's done with his next 4 years and then he probably comes out, and that's if he does not elope like Yahaya Bello, that elope. Right? Then you now come and start talking about punishment. So this whole immunity of a thing needs to also be looked at well, because why are you giving him immunity? You're literally saying you can do anything you want to do and get away with it. Yeah, we know that immunity is important because of some strategic decisions he has to make and all of that. But I feel it works in theory, but practically in Nigeria, it does not work because of the system that we run.
All right, thank you so much for that. I think that was just spot on. I can't agree, more to what you just said. Can we start practicing the peace accord? Can we ensure that there is no intimidation imposed? Can we ensure that elections are free and fair, credible, and transparent enough for more Nigerians to come out, and let's stop this whole apathy that we have during election periods, because we feel that elections, our vote does not count. And can we Nigerians also participate in the electioneering process, a situation whereby we vote, and when we're done voting, we protect our vote, safeguard it. Osun State election was more like, I know people would say it was a test run for 2027, but I love the resilience of the people of Osun. They waited for their vote, they accompanied their vote, they ensured that their votes counted. Can we have that replay again in 2027 election, so that Nigerians will probably vote somebody in and know that they voted the right candidate in, and when maybe the right candidate flips the whole narrative and start doing otherwise, Nigerians will say, oh, I voted for this person and I'm not going to cry foul, instead of not voting at all. But this is where we're going to call it a wrap on the morning pulse, the pulse of Nigerian politics. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom Ukechukwu, for chiming into the conversation. And of course, thank you so much, Samuel Orazulike, for your 2 cents on the stories. And to you, our viewers, for always watching. Thank you so much for always watching. Please do well to still like, share, comment, and subscribe to all our channels. You can find us across all socials at Active Citizens, and we'll come your way. Of course, sorry, there is a website where we post all our news content. So the ones that we're not able to dissect here on this table, you can go to our channels, our website, and then you check it out there. And also there is NG Polls. Please, I would love everybody to please go check out NG Polls, because he played a critical role during the Osun State election and Ekiti State election. That is more like a platform whereby all the votes, all the numbers, were pasted for Nigerians to see, okay, this is numbers that are coming in from IREV, this is numbers, Nigerian based only results. So I think I will ensure everybody to go and check it out. But from here on, we are saying good morning, Nigerians, and do have a wonderful and splendid day. My name is Ifomoji, of course.